what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And so today I'm going to be talking about the dreadful sequel Joker 2. And really my thoughts and really what went wrong with this overall. So I did go see the movie yesterday on Tuesday. And despite what I was hearing about what everyone was saying about it, I went to go see it because, I felt like it deserved it. Made $1 billion last time. And I really wanted to see what this was, because I was like, last time a lot of people were criticizing the first film too, but it ended up being really good. So I was like, okay, we'll see what happens here. So I went to go see the film, and yeah, it was terrible. Terrible film. But the one thing I'll say about this film is that in terms of why people don't like it, I feel like people are kind of a little off on why they don't like it. The reason why I don't like it is because I didn't feel like there was anything that got accomplished in this film. And being quite honest, I felt like this movie was like a Law and Order movie with Joker in it, which I didn't really care for. This movie primarily was Joker in prison and or in the courtroom defending himself. That's really the premise of this movie. Now obviously they turned it into a musical. They didn't do as many songs, which was good, as I thought they were going to do, because I thought they were going to do like music the entire time. I still think the musical thing was a mistake, because I feel like they forced certain scenes in for music that didn't belong in the movie. Like there were critical scenes in this movie that they just started singing, and it was like, this is not something that fits. Like when they were trying to escape out of prison, both Harley Quinn and Joker, when they were trying to escape from prison, they started singing or whatever, and that just to me was just no. That made no sense. Like I don't like when they do shit like that. If you're gonna sing, at least do it where it makes sense. Like in the early parts of the movie where, in the early parts of the movie where they, are singing because they're like in the chorus or whatever, that to me, like, okay, that's fine. But when you're doing it in like serious like scenes where they're like trying to escape and shit like that, that just doesn't make sense. One of the things also too, and I don't know if people picked up on this or not, but if you watch the trailer, the scene where they're like dancing on the stairs or whatever, that's cut from the movie. Like the stairs scene where both Harley Quinn and Joker are dancing, that's cut from the movie. Like the stair scenes, they're not dancing, they're just like sitting down and they're just talking. And then we see, Harley Quinn say, "No, you said you're not Joker anymore, so I'm not going to be with you anymore." And then the cops the cops arrest him or whatever. They like capture him again, or whatever. So that was cut, which I was like, why did they cut that? So that wasn't even a dream sequence. They completely cut that from the film, which I have no idea why, because that was in the trailers. That dancing scene in the on the stairs was cut entirely. Like she was like they were both there dancing. It was in the trailer and it was cut from the movie, which I don't know why you would show that in the trailer if then it was cut from the movie. That to me didn't make sense at all. So that was something that I noticed right away at the end of the movie. I was like, why is this cut? Um, Now, a lot of people are mad at the last thing that happened in the movie, which this is late, but this is all spoilers, by the way. But I don't think people care at this point anymore. But at the end of the movie, Joker is stabbed by the prison friend guy or whatever. Um, he stabs him multiple times, and Joker does the smile thing, which is kind of it kind of puts on to the whole Heath Ledger's Joker, or at least that's what people think. But also he dies. Like I believe he like Joker dies. Like he's dead. Like he gets killed. Right then and there. I don't think he survives that. But a lot of people are saying that that's like he's trying to be like Heath Ledger's Joker or whatever. That's what the going around is, I guess. And that is not true at all. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it was scummy for them to do it. Because apparently this was something that Todd Phillips wanted to do in the last film, but Christopher Nolan, who had worked for DC still at the time, said no. But since he wasn't there this time around, and he's now with Universal, obviously, he basically decided to do it. And yeah, I thought that was stupid. I didn't like it. That Joker, the Joker in this movie is not Heath Ledger's Joker from the Dark Knight trilogy. Okay, it is not. It makes no logical sense. Okay, Batman in this universe is a kid. Harvey Dent is an adult, and Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne were around the same age in the Dark Knight trilogy. Okay. Plus, you would have a different origins for the Two-Faced thing for Harvey Dent. And what else? Oh yeah, Joker takes place in the 70s. So again, yeah, it's not, it's not Heath Ledger's Joker or whatever. It's not. It's scummy that he did it, but I mean, he gave him free range. They gave him free range to do whatever he wanted, and he took that literally. Now, some people are saying that that the whole idea of Todd Phillips getting free range because of how successful the first movie was, when the first movie was not supposed to be a sequel anyway, it was supposed to be a one-off. But now people are coming up with this whole thing. Well, DC's making the mistakes again, like they did in the past with Nolan and with the original Batman. That they're making the same mistakes from before. That they've done before, like that they've given people free range or whatever. That they've been giving them free range, and not they've been giving them free range, and the Joker. Joker 2, because they gave Todd Phillips free range to do whatever he wanted. That's why the film failed, and it probably did fail for that way because of that. But people are saying that the films from before with the Dark Knight trilogy and Tim Burton's original Batmans films that because their first films did so good that they gave them free range to do what they wanted in their next films. That because of that, they shouldn't allow to do that. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say this: Tim Burton's Batman Returns was a phenomenal movie. Okay, everyone loved that movie. Okay, Batman Returns. Okay, the only people that didn't like Batman Returns were McDonald's. Okay, those were the people that didn't like Tim Burton's Batman, and that's because, Batman being a toy character for kids and the film being what it was too horrific for kids, for McDonald's at the time. So because of that, that's why Tim Burton didn't come back for the third film, okay? It had nothing to do with the film sucking like this film did, okay? And let's move on to Christopher Nolan, okay? Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight sequel was even better than the first one, Batman's Beginnings. And yeah, The Dark Knight Rises wasn't as good as The Dark Knight, but that doesn't mean that The Dark Knight Rises was bad. Okay? It still made a lot of money. It still did very good for itself. So this whole idea that, because Todd Phillips got free range, that this is another mistake by DC by giving these directors free range. Christopher Nolan and Tim Burton did great jobs with having full range. So I don't really necessarily think I like this idea, because again, those movies were done good. It's we're talking about this negatively because Todd Phillips didn't do a good job. Now, another whole idea that's coming up is that Todd Phillips isn't really a comic book fan. And I think that's a cop-out to a lot of fans that are saying, he shouldn't have been able to do it because he's not a comic book fan or whatever. I don't think you have to be a comic book fan to make a comic book movie, as long as you do your research and you know what you're doing. Because people bring this up, but they didn't bring this up when he was making $1 billion and you were liking the first Joker movie, were you? No, you weren't. Okay, you weren't complaining about him not being a comic book fan when he made the first movie. So I don't think this whole idea just comes up because the movie was a very disappointment. But again, I think with Todd Phillips not being a comic book fan and getting free range was a definite bad combination. Again, you don't have to be a comic book fan to make a successful comic book movie because there's been multiple people that have been able to do it. It's just depending on how much power you give these guys. If you give them a ton of power to do whatever they want, then it's going to go to their head that they can just do whatever they want. And that's the result you get with Joker 2. That's the result you get with Joker 2. But again, Joker 2 just didn't even really feel like a comic book movie. Or, I'm sorry, not a comic book movie. It didn't feel like a DC movie in general. It doesn't have to be necessarily a comic book. It can be like based on the animated series of, DC, like the cartoons or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to just be solely based on what they do in the comics. Because obviously there's different adaptations that you can do from DC. But it just didn't feel like any of that, though. It just felt like a movie that you would watch like an extended version of like Law and Order and just freaking have like Joker in it. That's really what it felt like, because there was no sense of accomplishment that came out of this. Joker gets probably dead, at the end of the movie. Harley Quinn dumps him, okay, because he decided that, he wasn't going to be Joker anymore. He was just going to be Arthur, Again, another thing that I thought was stupid, by the way. That Joker would say that. And we really didn't get the full on Harley Quinn. You know, and they cut the whatever dancing scene that they were supposed to do on the stairs, which was in the trailer. So yeah, I mean, the film was a disaster. Todd Phillips is definitely at fault because he did have free range for it. But I mean, again, I don't know what we can honestly say went wrong with this movie because again, I don't know what the whole idea was. I mean, this movie, the first one that was successful, was on a $50 million budget. And it made over $1 billion. It was the best profitable movie in the history of cinema at the time because it didn't cost that much to make. So it made the biggest profit ever at that point in time. So I don't know how you go from that to this. And again, it comes back to the whole, maybe he shouldn't have got free range for it. You know, they gave him a lot of money to do it because it was originally supposed to be a one-off. Maybe this is the case where it should have been a one-off. But again, this was before James Gunn. This was before DC Studios took over. So we have to take that in account of when this was greenlighted. So should there have been something, where, he had maybe like 70% of the say, maybe it would have resulted, but maybe it would have resulted better if he didn't have 100% of the say. Maybe there would have been something that would have been changed, but unfortunately, we're never going to know because this is what we got, and it sucked. And it's unfortunate because I honestly thought Joker had potential, especially since it was a standalone film. It had potential, and, especially with the first film. There was a lot of things you could do with that. And I think they just kind of wasted it by making it a musical when it didn't need to be a musical. They could have still had Lady Gaga be Harley Quinn and still do songs from time to time, but not do it in a way where it's like, a musical movie. Because I don't think that was needed. Especially in key scenes where they didn't need it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. It's a very unfortunate situation for anybody who was looking forward to this film. But yeah, that's what we got, guys. Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think was bad in this film? What do you think they could have done better to have made this film better? Because it's very unfortunate. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, flick this video, my videos. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell for the latest contents. Thank you, and that's about it. I'm the Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace! Also, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Twitch, the Instagram, and the Discord. I also do have a YouTube tier list, so make sure to check all those things out. And now I'm out. Peace.